Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such domain stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Ms. Lata Ramprasad. She is a seasoned audit director with a wealth of international experience and a robust portfolio embodying a comprehensive skill set encompassing risk analysis, talent development, fraud awareness, and shared service expertise. Her journey stands as a testament to unwavering dedication and a relentless pursuit of excellence in the domain of audit and risk management. In her latest role, serving as the Director of Compliance and Operational Risk Control at UBS Business Solutions, she has continued to steer the course of internal audits with a focus on designated market activities. Her tenure underscored her role as a leader in audit planning, risk assessment, and team management. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, Ms. Lata.
Thank you so much.
So, to begin with, could you provide an overview of your role and responsibilities as an audit director, particularly focusing on your expertise in risk analysis, internal control assessment, and SOX testing?
So I can, it is a graph that I can chart out for you. So I started as an audit supervisor or a member of the audit team, and I grew with it along with it. So I performed various audits, and at the latest stage of my career as an audit director, I was wearing different hats. Like you know, I was part of the internal audit team. So what you need to do is first analyze the risks that is involved in any organization, and then build your plan around what are the audits that you're going to conduct, and then go into individual audits to see what are the controls that are lying over there and what are the loopholes where you can improve and plug in those loopholes along with the stakeholders. Uh, so that is where, so along the journey, I wore very different hats. Core part of it being the actual audits that I performed. Alongside, I wore different hats such as being the privacy champion for internal audit, and I was also part of the diversity and integrity team. I was very actively involved in talent acquisition. So there were different roles that I had to perform. The main one being very deeply involved in audit planning and risk analysis, which is an annual exercise for the organization, whereby you take into account all the risks that are involved or existing in the organization currently, engage with all the stakeholders, try to understand where they are at, and then perform your risk analysis. And then they develop and build your audit plan, which is then submitted to the audit committee for the planning of the audits for the subsequent year. Then actually engage into the audits, decide which are the audits to be performed in any quarter, assign the teams, guide the teams, develop the audit report, discuss the results with or the findings with the stakeholders, and come to a conclusive plan of action on how to plug in the issues and address those issues and to mitigate the risks. And like I said, along the side, did a lot of other things which related to talent acquisition and diversity champion and the privacy champion. So there's a lot that was expected, and there was always a requirement for wearing your thinking hats on to come up with novel ideas to address any issues that the organization might come up with or face. A very futuristic kind of a vision. So that is exactly what I did.
Shraddha, thank you for the excellent start to this interview. To continuing our conversation, your career spans across prestigious organizations such as BNY Mellon, UBS, SunGard Software Solutions, and others. So could you share some key highlights or achievements from your experiences at these companies?
So I would go a little further back to the start of my career, which I started with the National Stock Exchange. So being an auditor inherently, fraud was actually kind of inbuilt in me. And when I started with the National Stock Exchange, that's exactly where my awareness of fraud started, because that goes back to the days when they were handling physical scripts in the market for settlement purposes. So how fraudulent activities used to take place. So the awareness started from there, and then that got carried on through my entire career across all the organizations. So it has been a very, I think I should consider myself lucky to be at these various organizations exactly at the turning point. So when I joined National Stock Exchange, that is the first time that online trading was introduced. So I happened to be there at the right time, at the right place. So which gave me a lot of learning capabilities, and of course to impart the kind of knowledge, because online trading was something that was very new to the market in India at that time. So that was a learning experience. That was start. Then I moved on to all these other organizations. I worked with the Big Four in the US. So there again, I came across lot of different kinds of clients. And then had the opportunity to work with the banking and the financial services industry, capital markets. So each place has its own culture, own ways of addressing audits or business as such. So everything was a learning experience for me. And in even though predominantly I was involved in the financial services industry, I also had the opportunity to move on to software solutions like in SunGuard, or be the manufacturing industry, because it was a client of one of the big fours that I was employed at. So I got to see various different aspects of running of a business, and how people tackled with it, and what are the things that you should look out for. And I had the opportunity to kind of leverage the knowledge gained from one industry and try to apply it into another industry, and vice versa. So everything was a learning experience. So it has been an extremely eventful journey so far, and I hope it continues to stay the same.
That sounds incredible. So building onto that, you have been involved in diversity and inclusive initiatives, notably being commended for your presentation on ageism at BNY Mellon. So how do you believe diversity enhances the effectiveness of an audit team, and what strategies have you implemented to foster inclusion?
So I would say diversity is not just a buzzword. It is something that has to be uh, acknowledged. First of all, it starts with self realization. You have to be open minded to adapt and evolve, and accept that not everybody is going to be the same as you. Um, if I were to draw parallels to our personal lives, we always say that opposites attract. So if you want to be in a relationship, or if you are getting married to somebody, you try and tend to stay away from your same kind of field, or your same kind of career that you have, so that you have something interesting to discuss, something novel that will come up with discussions with your partner or your friends or whatever it is. You try to have a diverse kind of a group that you move around with or engage with. And the thing is that when you engage with a diverse team, there are a lot of new ideas that come up. So when you are open-minded enough to adapt and understand and appreciate all that and try to learn from it, it makes a huge world of difference. And I have experienced this in my personal life and my professional life, whereby I've worked with different kinds of people. And diversity is not restricted to gender diversity. It can extend to age, it can extend to your socioeconomic background, your education, your professional, your experience level. It can extend to every part of life that touches you. So, in the course of my career, I have had the experience or the opportunity to work with people from different kinds of backgrounds. To begin with my own personal experience, my last job at BNY Mellon, the manager was younger than me. So, one of the questions asked at the interview was, would you be comfortable working for a manager who is younger than you? Now, I appreciate that I took a lot of career breaks for personal reasons. And so when I am taking a break, I don't expect the world to stop for me. So obviously, my peers would have gone ahead. So I was open to that idea of working for a manager who was much younger than me. But of course, she had the knowledge and the experience. So I accepted that and I took it on. And I had a very good experience in the process because there was so much to learn from her experience and her knowledge that she had gained over time. So in the process, when I started working over there and I had to start recruiting people, I was very actively involved in trying and recruiting people from maybe a physically challenged person, or somebody who is not educated in an English medium school but has all the correct ideas and the knowledge that is required to perform an audit extremely well. So being open to those kinds of and accepting those kind of people in your team, and engaging with them and trying to understand their strong points, and wherever they are weak, and try, I'm not saying that I am perfect in any way, but wherever I could help, I try to push them forward so that they could express their ideas. So take for example a person who is not educated in an English medium environment. The person has performed an extremely good audit but is not able to present it in a report form. So that is where the person comes to me, and I would try and help with my knowledge of English, and trying to correct and present, put together a report in a presentable format. That the combined effort of all these diverse kind of team members used to produce such an excellent result, that I started believing more and more in it, and actively involved was being actively involved in trying and recruiting or engaging in diverse teams. Apart from the professional side, I am also very actively involved in music, rhyming and things like that. That are extracurricular activities. And in the course of these, I perform a lot of stage events and shows. And in the course of this, I have been able to come across people who are, physically challenged, or somebody with autism. And I also do a lot of anchoring on for stage performances. So in the process, I have done so much of research. And one incident that I would like to narrate is when I had done the anchoring for autism awareness. I did a lot of research, and I was surprised to see that Einstein was autistic. Now, these are people who had challenges in their lives, but they overcame it, and their achievements far outweigh their drawbacks that they had. So, what you see is not, there's much, much more beyond what you see to all of these people. Take, for example, Stephen Hawkins. He was ridden to a wheelchair his entire life, but the kind of knowledge that he had is what we are following right now. So, it's just the acceptance and the mindset that you have to start with yourself, be open minded enough to accept all these differences, and then assemble, or imbibe them in yourself and in the team, and promote that kind of diversity, which actually goes a long way to the success of the entire team as such. And in the process, you also grow as a person. So this has been a wonderful experience so far, and I totally propagate diversity because I have seen the kind of results that have come out of it by engaging with a diverse team.
Rightly said, Ms. Lata. All right. So moving ahead from audits and risk management and diversity and inclusion, how and when did you feel the need to widen your work purview into ESG and corporate governance?
Again, this is not a buzzword. When something becomes a mandate from the regulators, and there is an axe hanging over your head, you have to follow it. You have to comply with it. Moreover, being an auditor, you have to be relevant at all times, because otherwise, whatever work you're doing is of no use. If you are not going to be able to adapt and evolve to the changing requirements of the business and the corporate world, then you don't stay relevant anymore. So this when ESG became a formal thing, but it's always been at the back of our heads to be environmentally and socially responsible. So when it became a mandate, you started doing a little more research on what are the things that you need to comply with, and you take that, and it's now become a common risk. I wouldn't call it a separate category, a separate thing away from audit. As an auditor, what you audit is risks involved in any business. Now, ESG has become so much in an integral part of any business that you have to take it as a common risk that you would always audit as a part of your regular audit planning process. So ESG is something that has become so relevant and so important in today's world that I had no option but to, of course, adapt and understand, and try and inculcate that into my normal day-to-day activities that I do as part of audit planning. So that's where it started from, and now it's become kind of a common thing. Then it's taken for granted that ESG is definitely going to be a part of your daily bread and butter that you do.
All right. So, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
So again, like I said, right, it starts when I talk about being socially responsible. So what is it that you're always thinking as an auditor? You're always thinking, out of the box. You're always thinking, what are the risks that can be faced by the organization? So when you engage with all these different teams, also, I'm trying to, it's there's nothing that is in silos for me. So if I'm talking about diversity, if I'm talking about ESG, everything kind of combines and falls into the same place, because ultimately, a melting pot of everything together, which kind of produces the results for the audits ultimately. So ESG is, like I said, a common risk that is faced everywhere. So you are constantly thinking when you are doing an audit plan. You are always thinking of the risks that the organization might face. So when you're always thinking about it, you're always taking into account the ESG part of it also. So you're always thinking about whether we are, being environmentally and socially responsible. What are the risks that are being faced by non-compliance by the organization? So because of my experience with normal audits, financial audits, that just got automatically extended to the environmental social governance part of it. And that is what I think through and try to inculcate with all my audit planning. So that is kind of a niche that I have, which I feel can be put to use, definitely.
Amazing. Okay, let's move ahead and let's discuss technology and its impact on your professional landscape. So, here is my question to you. What are some changes you foresee with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, digital twin, big data, Web 3.0, etc., in the corporate world and specifically in risk management and audit?
So yes, technology is a part and parcel of our world. Not just our world; it's there in every step of life, every aspect of an organization. So you have to adapt and grow along with it. There's always two sides to every coin. There are pros, there are cons. The pros being that, with all the technology that is available, you can do things accurately, at an extremely fast speed, and then you can handle volumes of data with ease. But on the flip side, there is the risk of, people becoming redundant. It's not that people are becoming redundant. It is the feeling that, the fear that people are becoming redundant. The fear that's there in people, that they are becoming redundant because technology has taken it over. And sometimes, no matter how much of technology advancement you do, there is some kind of human intervention that is required. Sometimes there are glitches. What if the technology fails? Do you have a fallback? You have to have a backup plan. Again, whenever these are designed, you need human intervention, because it's human beings that are designing it ultimately. So there is a lot of things that can be done, especially in the audit world, where you don't have to do mundane tasks. Some simple things that can be audited can be used. You can use audit technology for it. And like I said, in my last previous organization, there was always a push towards technology. So data analytics was a huge part of our survival over there, basically. So if you had to do any audits, you have to wear your thinking caps on and try to incorporate data analytics in every step of every audit, every step of the way, wherever possible. So there were many audits that I did where I tried to incorporate audits, even in the audit planning. So where you actually take into account all the risks that the organization faces, you club it together. There also we tried to incorporate data analytics, and we succeeded extremely well. Then there was an initiative in my organization whereby they said come up with some crazy ideas. So I took part in that effort or initiative, and I came up with a crazy idea, because every day there are new policies and procedures that are being rolled out. As a human being, it is almost impossible to keep track of whatever is there. So we all are very familiar with Alexa. So I kind of tried to design something that is the equivalent of Alexa for the audit world, whereby you ask Alexa a question on what is the policy that is relevant to whatever I'm doing or whatever I'm seeking, and it can spit it out. So this is something, whereby I also started thinking in terms of technology and how technology can be incorporated into our audit world or day-to-day work. And this was an idea that was very highly appreciated. Whether it gets executed, or whether it comes into reality is a different question. But then, yeah, you start thinking every idea or any crazy idea or everything starts from a thought. So it is the thing that I am seeing a lot of changes. Data analytics, how we used to do audit planning versus how we do audit planning today, is a huge difference, because a lot of it has become automated now. So everything's at your fingertips. Then if you want to data analytics, you have everything at your fingertips. And the beauty of all this technology is that it leaves an audit trail. So you don't have to take that extra effort to go back and see where, what was done where. You have an audit trail, and it can be maintained and preserved for as many years that you like, as long as you like. So there is no there is, first of all, there is no requirement for maintaining anything paper based. Everything is online, everything is available at the fingertips, and you can, the speed at which you get information that you want to do for your work purposes. You can complete your audits. I'm sorry, I keep saying audits, because my audit is a part of me, part and parcel of me, and that's where I've been my entire life, in my entire career. So of course, you can take this and draw parallels to the other areas of any organization or other areas of work. But then, audit being my main domain, that's where I am drawing examples from. So the ease with which we conduct audit today, because of the help of technology, versus how it used to be conducted, there is a world of difference. And like I said, there are a lot of pros, just a few cons, which if we brainstorm and put our heads together, I'm sure we can overcome those also. Because when you are using robotics or AI or whatever it is to do the mundane tasks, and you are relieving some people from those mundane tasks, you are actually giving them the opportunity to start thinking and make themselves more relevant and useful by trying innovative ways to tackle problems or do day-to-day tasks, so that it doesn't become mundane. And mundanity is something that should not exist anywhere, because human beings tend to get bored, and brain is a kind of a muscle that needs to be exercised. The more you challenge it, the more it comes up with different ideas. So that redundancy should not be there. So that is where technology comes in and helps, so that human beings can you put to use the tools that they have inbuilt in them to better use. That's where I see it.
Ms. Lata, thank you for sharing such amazing insights into different subjects. So this brings us to the last question of the session, and here it is. We are building a community of industry magnets. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Hival Mehta, and the team of World Development Corporation?
I would take this opportunity to commend all the efforts that you have put in. You have been there as an organization, and at an individual level. You have been there every step of the way to guide, especially people like me, every step of the way. So whenever you're starting or trying to embark on something new, there's always, you feel a little scared, you have that fear. But then by engaging with your organization and the individuals that you've mentioned, I have to say that I have felt confident, because you have been there to guide me every step of the way. It is an amazing initiative. The guidance materials that were provided were also extremely good. The continuous following up and monitoring that you did, I really have to congratulate all of you, and I really commend all the initiatives that you're taking, and I really look forward to this collaboration with your organization. Thank you very much for all the support that you've given so far.
Great. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that our insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Ms. Lata Ramprasad, for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded to participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise, have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.